Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So we are pretty much middle of June, and today I'm going to be talking about something that nobody's really talking about. If you follow the channel, guys, you know we have experienced, or I have experienced, a lot of sort of issues with the grown fruits and vegetables on the outside, and many of you have experienced similar concerns because things are just not the same. Totally understand, okay? Year on year is different. The weather changes, the season changes. Things are just not the same as they used to be, nor they are ever the same year on year. I totally understand that. But many of you, like myself, are starting to question what on earth is actually happening. So, first of all, okay, and again, it's been shared amongst many of you, and I noticed this myself, is the, first of all, lack of pollinators around in the garden. I don't have a huge garden. By all means, I don't have a huge garden, and I don't have tons of flowers, but I do have vegetable plants that flower. I have some weeds, some clover that flowers in the garden. I do have some flowers in the garden, and generally I do have a very large hedge, which is the laurel hedge, and quite often there are tons and tons of wasps and bees flying around it, and I mean absolutely tons. I do have a couple of bumblebees that do live in my pot in the patio because I see them going in there, but generally from that, as of this year or this season, I have not seen many at all, and I'm talking about my hedge. It's totally free of the pollinators. I do have those bumblebees that I do see flying around locally around the pot and keep coming back to it. I might see occasional bumblebee or a bee, in fact, maybe in my greenhouse, but that's that. Okay, and we're talking about serious lack of the pollinators. We're even going to the point of the cabbage butterfly. Generally they start in June and there's tons of them flying about. I have two massive cabbages growing in my patio, on my patio in the pot, sorry, and I do have a couple of little cabbage plants in the outside in the greenhouse, little polytunnel greenhouse there. And to be fair, for the all season, from really their due time, I've seen maybe two, and I'm talking about just two butterflies just flying around. And that's that. So many of you have shared the same concerns, that the lack of pollinators seems to be really, really strange. The second point is I find something really eerie. When I come out to the garden outside, it's just something really, really strange. I don't know, the feeling that I get is the feeling of eeriness. And I think partially that comes with what currently seems to be happening with the cloud, the really low weird cloud. And I can't really explain that properly to you, but just hold that thought. We've been promised another heat wave, okay, and I live in Wales. Well, so far, and with a heat wave, we're meant to be having some clear skies. For the past few days, we just haven't. We had this little, what feels like a really low suppressing cloud just sitting above us. So generally in the house, I do have one of the air quality meters that I had for about a year, and this generally sits there just to monitor the quality of the air, and it measures two things. It measures the PM 2.5 and the AQI, which is the air quality index. Okay, so it basically just measures the quality of the air around you, and it does take a lot of things into account, but it's pretty much like a ppm meter for the water. It measures the things that are currently in the air. As I said, I had this meter for about a year, and it just sits there, just monitors. And my generally the top part, so the PM 2.5, it's generally around 0.4. It maybe goes to 1, maybe 2. That's that maximum. And I've got the AQI generally around maybe maximum of 7 or 10 if I'm burning a candle and that sort of thing, and that's changed. But then it goes back to normal. So for the past for the past couple of weeks, I've noticed that the numbers in that have started to go up gradually, but going up pretty much on a daily basis. We are in the warmish temperatures, the windows are open a little bit more, so I'm like, okay, it was a little bit peculiar. And I understand some of you might think, like, you know, it's a lot of nonsense, a lot of what are you talking about? But I've decided to put this air quality meter outside, because technically the outside air should be cleaner than my air inside, because I wasn't running my air purifier home. So as I thought, okay, over the past week, the numbers have been going up as has been outside. And today, okay, it's actually going to the point now that the air quality states it's no longer good. It's actually fair. So the point is, my top reading now, instead of something that's 0.4, is now reading 12.7. And my AQI is reading 52. Okay, this is quite a high increase considering of my baseline. So this little meter measures the temperature and it measures the humidity in the air as well. and the air quality index does only take a little bit into account if it's really humid. It might increase ever so slightly, but we're talking about the increase of almost like 5-fold, which is I find quite bizarre. So this is the reason I'm kind of pointing this or bring this to your attention. This eeriness that's in the air, I cannot explain this, but when I come out in the garden, is that quietness of lack of pollinators. I have a lot of birds though, actually, in fact, probably more than I should do, and they are eating my vegetables and greenery rather than bugs. You know, it's really odd, but the point is, it is really, really strange. And a lot of you obviously been messaging as well, expressing your concerns when it comes to the growing. Things just been really, really strange, and things been dying outside. And if you follow my gardening adventures, you know the same. I've lost few plants for a really, really strange reasons. It's just really unexplainable. But to me, having this outside and then figuring out that somehow our air quality is going down, it is really, really bizarre. And for some of you who might question again, well, it maybe depends on your location and things are happening. Well, I live in very rural Wales. We live around mountains. We don't have major roads anywhere. So to me, there is nothing there. There's no burning of the fields. Nothing has been happening around our area for the past week to really deteriorate the quality of the air that much. So this is where really I've kind of, not say hit the nail on the head, but I just get a little bit concerned and a bit puzzled to why. Okay, just again to let you know, it is absolutely normal to have fair quality of air in those sort of numbers if you live in a different area. It is totally natural depending on your environment. But my point is, in my environment where I live, this is not normal, and I'm taking into account the last year of me running that unit. So nonetheless, right, I wanted to bring this video out to you to get people thinking, because I know there's a lot of you that are you know, questioning the whole scenario. And again, one thing, some of you might blame whatever's happening up there. I cannot see, and I haven't seen the clear skies or what's above it to see whether things been happening or not recently, because we've been sitting under this little low cloud for a while. And again, we had this last year when we had this sort of cloud that traveled across pretty much the whole Europe, and it sat on what for about a week or 2 weeks, and even then the air quality was not as bad as that. So there we are, guys. I just wanted to, you know, bring this to your attention, just my observations, if you wish. So now I'm going to turn the camera around. I'm just going to show you around my garden to see, you know, what sort of happened. It's a little bit overgrown. I haven't had much time to deal with that, but I'll show you what things, weird things that have happened, and I show you what looks like some good things have happened. So let me turn you around and I show you about. So I'm going to start with the greenhouse I'm filming. So my cucumbers have finally started growing. They do look rather healthy. I think, to be fair, probably one of the healthiest cucumber plants I had for the past couple of years. See, we got little cukies out there. It's, you know, not doing too bad. And I've got a couple more here, and one of them wants to hold on to his tomato friend. Looking at the tomatoes, I think I'm very happy. I do need to de-leaf quite a lot and tie them up again. As you can see, some of them already going up all the way to the ceiling. I am leaving this is how I always do this. I'll prune them, I'll tie them up, and I'll make sure I get my maximum yield from the plants that I have. And as you can see, this one, it's, you know, they're doing okay. I've got loads and loads of Tommies. They're, I think, acceptable size considering we are mid of June. You can see in the bottom, okay, loads there. If I just show you about there they are, all hanging green. So a lot of work of tying them up, but they look, you know, look okay. So my peppers are here, still struggling a little bit, but I kind of, that's it now. I think I'm just going to let them do whatever they need to do. So let's go to greenhouse number 2. So this is greenhouse number 2. Again, my tomatoes are doing okay. They are, again, they need some support because they are getting a bit heavy. This one's actually tilting over, so I need to get that done, but they are okay. Right, bearing in mind I do live in the smallish pots. See, that's a good one. That's a fairly large one. This is my Eastern European tomato. He's doing good, and there's one on this side as well. Stalky. It's, you know, solid little plant. And then I've got the cucumber here that's got a, looks like a bit of mildew, so I have to spray this up, and a couple of cucumbers in there. So peppers, they seem to be halted a bit. You can see it's grown, but I showed you that last time. I think it was similar size, and that was 2 weeks ago. And then here I've got my more peppers and chilies. I've got the aubergine flowering over there, and I've got a first hello chili, which is good. Again, a bit slow, but you know, it is what it is. So this is my backup lettuce, and I've got some courgettes, some extra cucumbers, and some peas to go outside. So now here outside, okay, look at those peas, right? This is birds eating my peas. They're eating the leaves of the peas. This is absolutely crazy. I never ever for the years of growing peas had birds eating and stripping my peas. And I see them just hanging here and just nibbling them. It's weird. Birds do not need to eat that. Nonetheless, right, the weird thing, really weird thing. Okay, have a look at those tomatoes. What on earth? What the hell happened here? I understand there could be some weird cross-pollination or some dodgy things with the large flowers. I forgot what they're called, but there's like all three of them are like, look. What is that? This is really, really strange. Again, I've been growing tomatoes for the past like 20 years. I've seen some deformity, but this is something else. This is absolutely crazy. So here, I know that's dill, peppers, everything sort of, you know, just there. It's just not doing great. Cucumber melons, they're climbing, haven't, not a lot happened, but I see a first flower on there, which might be okay, but generally it's a bit sad looking stuff. My little radish is doing all right. We've been harvesting them around, the little finger ones, they're great in the pot, they do really, really well. Look. Again, birds been eating the tops, but the point is they're growing, they're fine. Carrots, again, look, my little baby carrots there. They'll be ready soon for young carrots, or I'll let them grow. They seem to be doing a-okay. Right, this side, this is my food forest, okay. So you can see my beautiful apples, look at them. And they're just a beautiful, beautiful colour. They are going to be really heavy, so I have to be supporting them somehow. But it's, you know, my idea of the food forest, it kind of works, but things yellowed. Again, a bit strangely. The foliage for curly leaf parsley, I've never seen this yellow and red. It's odd. Although the little wild strawberries are doing great if I can get to them before the birds do. And tomatoes here, they okay. They, you know, growing, but nothing specifically good. But here you can see it's all kind of amalgamated together. That's my idea. So I'm going to show you that first. So, all right, so this is my bed that I left alone. I did get rid of the potato. It was too busy. But I left those pumpkins. They seem to be doing okay here. So I just let them be. Parsnips and beetroot is just, yeah, it's kind of a bit an experiment. So tomatoes at the back, right, that looks like a potato. Again, really strange. And my peas collapsed. I don't know why. They tied up gently, but they are breaking. Where the birds sit in them, I really, really don't know. But again, you would have seen that. What has happened to my little tomatoes? They're yellow. They're just ill. Got one tomato. Here we go. But this is not a healthy tomatoes, and they are been planted at the same time as majority of them. They just don't look good. Right here, some more peas. Some are again broken, and tomatoes are okay. They're growing. Haven't got any tomatoes. I know there's a couple of those yet, but they have been planted out later. I think it's about a month difference between them, but they are kind of getting there. Right, raspberries, we've been harvesting a few of them, not a huge amount, but in a handful for my little one. It's, you know, it's been a-okay. Little courgette plant, I had about 3 of this size little courgettes from that. All the plant doesn't look that particularly healthy. It produces, so yeah, I'm kind of happy with that. And I've got some red currants that have been eaten by the birds. So now on this side, okay, so I've got a couple of tomatoes in the pots. The same tomatoes, the same pots, the same soil. And look at them here, comparing to the other ones. They're nice and healthy. Anyway, so this is the other odd bit, and I've mentioned this before. The tomatoes, they're looking great. Okay, I give them that. They're big. I have a lot of fruit there. and I mean a lot of fruit. Look at them all hiding. But the point is, those tomatoes are meant to be indeterminate, but they're not. They are growing as a bush tomato. You can see they're spreading sideways rather than going upwards. I do have a tie up, so now I have to tie them up again, but it's just weird. It's a strange thing. But still, look, loads and loads of little Tommies. Okay, all the way from the bottom. Yeah, loads and loads. And the same on the other side. Look, if you have a look, loads of tomatoes growing out there. Loads. So my pumpkins I showed you 2 weeks ago, they have not really changed a lot. They're just here. They're just there. They've been fed. Everything's, you know, I'm doing the best I can, but they just not seem to be doing that well at all. On this you can see somewhat tomatoes there, look. They're doing good. So right here, so we've got our broad beans. They are now ready to be harvested, so we'll do that soon. The other thing is peculiar, but I've seen this in the news. The not white fly, but I've got a lot of those white bugs on my, they're like mealy bugs type thing, all over the plum trees. They're kind of, birds keep eating them, but they are just seem to be everywhere, which is I really, really don't like. But nonetheless, plums are kind of, you know, okay, I think. Right, and then here, let's go for this is my runner beans. I had the first flower, so I think we've got some, oh yeah, first bean, okay. Yeah, not a huge amount of flowers, look. Considering the size, I've got 1, 2, and there's, oh yeah, some flowers here. Here we go, hiding. But I do expect by now to have quite a lot more flowers, considering how tall that runner beans are. So that's also one of the peculiar things. French beans here. Okay, I've got started to have some French beans again. Dead dwarf variety, not too bad. Oh, here we go, a few of them, that's good. And I've got some more of the beans here, which are questionable. And then we've got my big courgette. You can see that's filled up, definitely. I've harvested a couple of big ones from here already. Oh, there's a bumble. And there is 2 more growing there, so that's not doing too bad. And then I've got my apples there and a composter that's opened up. Again, they look like a beautiful, beautiful little apple. And then in my raised bit here, I have my carrots. They are doing okay. Lettuce being eaten by the birds again. And the carrots in the bottom here, kind of growing. They don't get much sun here, but they still should be okay. And then my beetroot there. And then this is, guys, my hanging tomatoes on the patio. They haven't changed a lot. I have loads and loads of fruit on them, but it's only one that's yellow, one that's ripening there. They are taking absolute ages, considering it's a bit fairly warm. It's just not, again, something's really, really odd. So there we are, guys. That was a little tour of my garden of what's currently been happening. I didn't go into the huge details, but as you can see, it does need a little bit of a work and tidying this up. So you can see really, again, that not a lot have changed in terms of vegetables recovering from whatever originally kind of got them down or pretty much killed them. Tomatoes do okay, and I know some of you will say that I've got nothing to worry about because they are performing maybe better than some of yours, but at the same time I had loads and loads of messages of you expressing your concerns of what's currently actually happening. And as again, I said this in the beginning of the video, nobody seems to be talking about it. I understand if some people might think it's somewhat maybe a controversial subject, but we're not really unsure. I'm not blaming this on anything, but I'm questioning whether the whole thing of the latest weather modification trials they're running that's affecting that. If it is, then it's pretty dire, because the quality of the air is pretty much everything to us and to the plants as well. So there we are, right? I'm not really sure where to get from there or where to go from there. I just wanted to share this with you. I just wanted to show you the facts. It's not just me whinging about what's currently happening and my veg is not growing. There is an obvious thing here to prove that is something not right or not pure with the air for the area. Again, please do bear this in mind. I've been monitoring this for the past year, and the whole thing, like the lack of the bees, lack of the pollinators, the weird behavior of birds that are eating my peas and my lettuces rather than what they should be eating, like strawberries and things like that. So it's just really, really strange. And of course the abnormal shape of tomatoes. I'm sure there probably is an explanation for that, but me being me, I will be questioning everything as usual. So anyway, guys, well, I hope you find this video helpful. Of course, please comment down below your thoughts. If you had any, things in the garden that happened since the last time we kind of did the garden video, and you shared some things, whether maybe things improved for some of you, maybe things got worse. I don't know. So please comment down below so we can discuss that further. Anyway, guys, well, thank you for watching, and I shall see you soon. Bye-bye.